Welcome back to the Beardy Beer Bro Show, you fine ruddy folks. I told you I would not dilly-dally for too long, so here are the rest of the digital 360 exclusives you may or may not want to buy before the store closes for good. But be warned, games available may differ per region and delisting can happen at any time, so what I'm about to say may be absolute poppycock by the time you watch this. But before we start, I've got to ask you, don't forget to pay your respects to the 360 store by dropping this video a gosh darn like.
Gather your allies. Sharpen your sword.
If you have followed the channel for a while, it will not come as a ruddy shock to know that the so bad that they are actually fecking good Deadliest Warrior games are some of my favourite, jank-filled, laugh-out-loud a minute titles to play with a few beers and a few chums involved.
Yeah, boy!
But Deadliest Warriors Battlegrounds ditched the 1v1 nature of those games and is instead some sort of standalone DLC expansion to Chivalry. But does that make it a bad game? Well, no, it was an extremely fun experience when you could actually find players to play with, but nowadays its online offering is dead and buried, so it's ruddy bots or fecking nothing, I'm afraid. So instead I say spend your hard-earned cash on Deadliest Warrior the game and Deadliest Warrior Legends instead. Another online multiplayer focused game that released for the good old Xbox 360 is Recoil Liberator, a well balanced fast paced arena style shooter that definitely had its ruddy strengths, but even at the time of the game's release it never had a fecking strong enough following to begin with. So obviously in the year 2024 it's Tumbleweed City, I'm afraid, so I say feck video game preservation, as the game is still hella overpriced, which means you're better off saving your goddamn money. Cover-based shooting shenanigans really did find a home on the 360, but a game that took what Kill Switch started and Gears of War cemented, then turned it on its jetpacking topsy-turvy ruddy head was Hybrid. But alas, once again, Hybrid is another game that's main focus was online multiplayer, so good, ruddy luck finding anyone to enjoy this one with. Dungeon crawling antics and cooperative shenanigans go hand in ruddy hand. So, Arcadian Warriors should be an easy recommendation sheerly on its hacking and slashing Diablo-esque gameplay alone. But, thanks to being hella generic while lacking in any real story, character, and meaningful incentive to grind for fecking hours, I sadly cannot recommend it. As well, it's just a bit of a slog, so I'd only recommend downloading Arcadian Warriors if you really need to have every non-backwards digital exclusive out there.
You can't put a price on justice.
While on the topic of Diablo-esque games, I'd be a ruddy fool not to shout out Deathspank, which is another hacking and slashing, looting and gear collecting action RPG kinda similar to Arcadian Warriors, but thanks to the game's visual flair, unique charm, and hilarious dialogue that will have you laughing throughout, Deathspank rises above its slightly repetitive gameplay to become an easy recommendation. However, it is a little bit pricey, so if you want to play this one, I'd recommend getting a co-op buddy involved, as the laugh out loud a minute smart humor of the game will easily justify its high cost. While I do genuinely hate the fecking name, I must admit even to this day I still really enjoy the Ruddy game, as Shizey's unique blend of twin stick, gauntlet style, top-down action, hyper-frantic yet strategically laced bullet hell Kaguya-esque antics combined to be the rocket-shaped tits. But where Shizey truly stands out is due to its focus on its distinctly unique color-coded, brain-melting, co-op-based multiplayer mayhem that makes in-sync, pitch-perfectly timed teamwork a hyper-challenging yet utterly rewarding blast. So yes, I say do go out and spend that cheddar on this one. When reminiscing about the Xbox Live Arcade, the title Small Arms will likely pop into your old noggin. But even though Gel Set and Match was made by the same developer, why is it not remembered so fondly? Well, it's likely due to the game being a fairly basic yet solid action puzzle-centric base title where moving blocks and matching colours is the aim of the game. But again, is it worth your time and your hard-earned cash? If you're a fan of puzzle titles, then yes, as Set and Match boasts a robust variety of puzzle-centric gameplay options that not only cater to both the casual and hardcore crowd, but also is a ton of fun in its multiplayer that can still be played locally. But yet, if the thought of doing the same thing over and over again just to beat your previous high score does not tickle that dunce hat wearing pickle of yours, then the repetitive nature of the gameplay as well as its high price make this one to avoid.
Get ready.
To mark the 30th anniversary of the ruddy legendary Space Invaders series, the classic game got a revamp that dropped on the PSP and the Nintendo DS. But ignore those, as the HD version that released exclusively for the 360 that added offline and online 4-player co-op and versus multiplayer modes is the true Ultimate Edition. Yeah, it did find its way onto Steam a few years down the road, but if using a computer has you like this,
Where's the any key?
well then it's 360 or fecking nothing. The high price point may put some peeps off, but I say feck it, as this celebration of one of gaming's most iconic arcade titles is a prime example of how you update while respecting everything that made the original a true classic. So yeah, the visuals are great, the soundtrack slaps, and the high score chasing gameplay is just as addictive as it was all the way back in ruddy 1978. So what else can I say other than Space Invaders Extreme is indeed the UFO-shaped ruddy tits. Another game that takes a beloved classic title but adds a few new bells and whistles is Wing Commander Arena, a spin-off to the old series that began its life all the way back to the year that I was born.
Fuck, you're old.
But is it any good? Again, just like a lot of games on this fecking list, it's a bit of a niche title that's only going to appeal to a certain type of gamer, as its more convoluted elements don't always gel with the action-oriented gameplay. Some people love it, other people hate it, and my personal opinion is,
I mean, it's alright.
so I'll let you be the judge to whether this is your cup of tea or not. However, one game I cannot recommend in the slightest is bloomin' Zombie Wranglers, as it is an extremely soulless, bare-bones, hyper-repetitive and tedious affair that even the inclusion of local co-op can't save. Yeah, it's a fecking slog, and even worse, its poorly implemented control mechanics make the game truly unbearable. And look, I did want to like this game, I really fecking did, but I still resent dropping my Microsoft points on Zombie Wranglers even to this day. But if you do want mindless zombie arcade fun, then Zombie Apocalypse will tickle that undead pickle of yours. Visuals do not make a great game, so I cannot recommend Crazy Mouse to you at all, as it's shit, like proper shit. And yeah, sure, the cartoony visuals do look appealing at first ruddy glance, but it's all a ruse, I tell ya, as hidden under Crazy Mouse's fun, bright and colourful facade is a dreadful Pac-Man-esque clone that's runtime is short, and due to the poor controls and awful collision detection just makes the game playing as fun as getting kicked in the ruddy balls.
My groin!
So yeah, feck this Crazy Mouse and the waste of beer money it will cost ya. If you like miniature vehicular racing gameplay akin to titles like Micro Machines or the Hot Wheels games, well then I highly urge you not to bother steering yourself over to and wasting your time with the piss-poor imitation known as Things on Wheels. Sure, the developer's previous game Mad Trax was an absolute gem of an Xbox arcade title, but lightning did not strike twice with this one, so just save your bees and honey, okay? Right, now we get to the games that I have not got any ruddy opinion on, as I've yet to install them on my hard disk drive. But if you must download every game just for the sake of video game preservation, I'ma just shout out Wits and Wages, Warworld, and Fusion Genesis. Wits and Wages is a trivia-based party game that can be played with both the big button pads from the Scene It games and the Xbox Live Vision camera. It holds a 63 Metacritic score and will set you back £6.75 or $9.99. Next up is Warworld, a tactical combat mech-based run-and-gun shooter. While visually the game looks great and has a ruddy boatload of content, it received mostly negative reviews and holds a 45 Metascore. But at only £3.39 or $4.99, it may be worth a go, I don't know. Lastly, we have Fusion Genesis, a spaceship flighting, dog-fighting, twin-stick shooter infused with some RPG and MMO elements. Apparently the game is pretty good and packs in a lot of self-aware, tongue-in-cheek humour. Fusion Genesis currently holds a 69 Metascore, but most in the know say it's a really good time, so I may actually drop £6.75 on this one and give it a bloody go. If you have played any of the games I just mentioned, make sure you write some reviews in the comments below and help out your fellow 360 brothers in arms. But before we get to the last game on this list, I need to ruddy stress that yes, I do know said game came out on the PS3, then eventually made its way to Steam. But it has since been delisted, so the only way to play the game in its intended state is on the Xbox 360, so that's why it makes this list, okay?
What kind of sickos dress up as bats?
Let's make a new Batman game for the arcade that focuses on online multiplayer. Great! What's it gonna be? Some like heroes versus villains fighting title? Nope! It's going to be a first-person shooter that features no Batman or any of his rogues gallery, but instead does feature people pretending to be Batman and the Joker. Okay, sounds good, right? It's a strange concept for sure, but Gotham City Imposters somehow made it work, and this wholly unique use of the Batman license just ended up being an absolutely great time, as well as also being Harley Quinn's tits. You see, the core mechanics may feel a smidge like Call of Duty, but everything else about the game just oozes charm and fun. The bright distinct art style and visuals absolutely pop. The insane and well crafted customization options make each and every character truly stand out, and to top it off, it's the distinctly goofy gadgets and weaponry that all have to be used smartly in order to help your team claim that W. It's weird, but it's truly wonderful. But, I hear you say, ain't this online multiplayer game from 2012 going to have servers akin to a ruddy ghost town? Kinda. But, thanks to every fecking thing I just mentioned above, the game still has a die-hard fan base, and with a little tippy-tap on the old keyboard, I'm sure you can find some peeps to have a game or two with. Trust me, it's good. It's really good. And that's your lot. Have I missed anything? Let me know down in the comments below. Time to get back to the pub, I think. So hit that like button, be sure to subscribe, but more importantly, you guys stay tipsy.